Hi, everyone. My name is Josh Meredith. My pronouns are he, him, and his, and I am the Chief of Staff for Born This Way Foundation, which is a nonprofit that was co-founded and is led by Lady Gaga and her mother, Cynthia Germanata. And our mission is to inspire and empower young people to build a kinder, braver world that supports their mental health. I'm so grateful to be with you all tonight. I don't know about y'all, but I have needed to surround myself with community as much as possible lately. So I first want to take a moment to thank tonight's hosts for bringing us all together. And I applaud each and every single one of you for simply showing up here tonight, dedicated to celebrating our joy and resilience. When I was racking my brain on what to share with you to inspire some hope or action, I remembered why I started doing this work in the first place. To share my story in hopes that it would help others feel a little less alone. Our stories are our superpower, and it was the stories of young people that were shared with Lady Gaga when she was touring early in her career that became the genesis of Born This Way Foundation. Young people, your stories, your perspectives, your lived experiences, your ideas, they still remain at the heart of everything we do here at the Foundation. I know there's a lot of pressure on us younger generations right now to be the ones to make change in the world because of our passion for activism. It's even more so for marginalized communities like ours, and I don't have to tell you all that it can feel overwhelming, especially as we head into Pride season. So tonight, I'm honored to have this platform to remind you in these #challenging times that simply existing as your authentic self is an act of resistance. Sharing your story is advocacy. Your kindness is action. And even when that feels tough, community and resources are there to support you. You just have to know where to look, and Born This Way Foundation is here to help. Even amidst fear and fatigue, we see young people like you every day rising up to support each other. I'm so proud of each of you for advocating for the kinder, braver world that we know is possible, even when it feels daunting. You're making a difference just by being here on this planet, exactly who you are. I grew up in a small town in West Virginia, and at an early age, I was real confident in my self-expression, prancing around the house as Snow White or giving pop diva in my living room. But that wasn't always met with rave reviews from my parents, my family, or even my peers as I got older. So often I was told that I was finding joy the wrong way. I was too feminine, too flamboyant. So in my adolescence, coming to terms with my queerness was an isolating journey, wrought with anxiety and depression. But then I found my place in a local community children's theater. And it was there where I met other kids who were going through the exact same thing that I was. I worked with mentors who encouraged me to be all of me, authentically. I found joy in expressing myself proudly and flamboyantly. This new support system validated my identity and celebrated me for all that I was. It was a kind community that saved my life. I'm lucky to have found this supportive community in person because we know that many young queer people, especially those in rural areas, face so many barriers to finding safe spaces, relying on the support of online communities, which are equally as important. And our research affirms this. Born This Way Foundation recently released a report in partnership with Hope Lab called "Without It, I Wouldn't Be Here Today," exploring how LGBTQ+ young people connect in their online communities, especially LGBTQ+ young people of color, trans young people, and young people in rural communities, just like I was. The findings highlight how digital communities help young people find peer support and how digital platforms create safer, kinder environments where they're more likely to be open about their identities. We must foster these safe, kind spaces online and in person and amplify the community organizations around the world, providing young people with the support that they need to thrive. Our youth-led grant-making program, the Kindness and Community Fund, aims to address the changing needs of young people by funding organizations that provide free, accessible resources to support youth mental health. And this June for Pride, we just announced that our friends at Sephora will be committing $1 per House Labs product sold to the Kindness and Community Fund, specifically supporting initiatives for LGBTQ plus communities. We know that there are many intersecting factors that impact mental health, so we purposefully take a holistic approach with the Kindness and Community Fund. Our grantee organizations cover a broad range of support, from direct mental health services to mentorship programs, arts programming and sports therapy, culturally competent care, as well as safe spaces for young people to gather, build community, and get support for needs like shelter and food. And I'm excited to share that we just opened our latest call for nominations for the next cohort of grantees, and we want to hear from you. If you know a youth-led organization making mental health support more inclusive, we're inviting you to nominate them for a grant. And we're especially eager to hear from young people ages 15 to 24, and we will prioritize those nominations. If I were still in that age bracket, I'd be nominating that nonprofit children's theater that provided me with a life-saving community when I was a young person struggling with my mental health. I can't wait to learn more about the organizations making an impact in your life. And even in this room, there are so many organizations represented that are finding creative, impactful ways to show up for young people in their communities. You can check out our website or go onto our social media to learn more about how you can nominate, or you can always talk to me or one of my fellow team members here in the room tonight. To close, I want to share something that I recently heard on one of my favorite podcasts, Las Culturistas, that's going to stick with me this Pride. Their guest was the activist Tourmaline, who just released a biography on Marsha P. Johnson. She spoke about the community that Marsha built in the West Village in the 60s and the 70s, and how places like the Stonewall Inn became a beacon for those who had to turn down the volume at home. Marsha and her peers provided safe and kind spaces, much like this one here tonight, for LGBTQ plus young people to turn up their volume. So tonight, I'm turning up the volume for that loud little boy in a makeshift apron princess dress who was constantly told to tone it down. I'm turning up the volume for each of you in a world that keeps trying to hit the mute button. And as we navigate this Pride together, I invite us all to take inspiration from our queer elders and continue to build up these kind communities. Let's turn up our volume together by continuing to live authentically and share our stories. Let's hold a megaphone to those who need to be amplified. Let's find joy everywhere and anywhere we're able. And remember, there is no wrong way to express that joy. Thank you so much for being a part of my community, and let's build a kinder and a braver world together.